Hello everyone, I'm Mike Feltenberger, and it's time for the High Banks Highlights racing action at the Grandview Speedway, located right off of Route 100 in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania, for the night of July 11th, featuring the Firecracker 40, the big event for the crate Sportsman. 44 cars were entered in the pit area for the crate Sportsman, 45 for the small block modifieds, and here's how things went down. They needed 4 qualifying events for the crate Sportsman, 2 consolations. The heat winners went into a 4-lap cash dash, paying $500 to win. Your heat winners for the crate Sportsman were Brett Gilmore in the 7, Steve Young in the 187, Kenny Gilmore in the 88X, and Mark Moore in the 20M. Consolation winners were Dylan Hoke in the 35H and Jimmy Leiby in the 28. Tina Rogers decided to add 2 more spots for the A-main in consideration of the car counts, and luckily to get those 2 spots was Brad Brightbill and Steve Hughes. Both of those drivers actually became part of the 3 drivers that were the hard chargers for the race, advancing 12 positions. Brightbill getting 12 spots, Steve Hughes getting 12 spots, and the other driver was Colin Cox. They all advanced 12 spots after the 40 laps was completed. Cash Dash was won by the 4-lap Cash Dash, paying $500, was won by Brett Gilmore. And here's how things went down for the Firecracker 40. Getting the win, Brett Gilmore in the 7. Early race leaders were Steve Young and Kenny Gilmore. It was a little bit of a enjoyable time watching the Gilmores battle each other for the top spot, with Kenny getting the lead from Steve Young, and then Brett wrestling the lead on the high side, coming off of turn 4 to get the lead and take the eventual win, which totaled $3,300 for Brett Gilmore. Brett, I'd like to acknowledge his fiance buying a right rear tire for the event. It actually helped in the cause, getting Brett to the front for the big win. Brett Gilmore, your winner. Jesse Landis had a shot at him the last lap. He tried something different going into turn 3. Slower cars in front of Brett. It almost made it pay off, but he just had to settle for second. The 973 Jesse Landis. Kenny Gilmore, early race leader in the 88X, getting third. Fourth, one of your hard chargers, Colin Cox, finishing 4th. Teague Miller, 917T. He was in the top 10 basically the whole race. Strong showing for the yellow 917T. Teague Miller. Jordan Henn, welcome back, Jordan, getting the 6th spot in the 4R. Gavin Krupp finishing 7th in the 5K. Mike Toth, he was actually challenged for top 3 spot early in the race there. He was a strong contender to overtake the Gilmores for the top spot, but sort of fell back as the laps wore on, but still getting an 8th place finish. Decker Swinehart coming on strong at the end of the race to get 9th in the 83, and rounding out your top 10, consolation winner Dylan Hoke in the 35H. That's how your things went down for the crate Sportsman for the Firecracker 40. Again, top 3, Brett Gilmore, Jesse Landis, and Kenny Gilmore. They actually did pose for a podium picture with a beautiful trophy given out by the Rogers family for the winner of the Firecracker 40. 45 small block modifieds in attendance. 4 heats were needed, 2 consolations, and your heat winners were Eric Bean in the 87, Craig Mondoran in the 30. Craig actually came from the last starting spot in his heat to get the win in the 12-lap event. Kyle Smith in the 77 was your 3rd heat winner. Nice to see him, Kyle, shake off some recent bad luck in the 77 for 3rd. And Brian Herthler getting the 4-star back into a potent position, winning the 4th heat. 2 consolations were needed. Rick Laubach getting the first one in the 7. Jared Umbenhauer, your 2nd consolation winner, driving the 19. Things were going pretty rapidly in the small block modified feature. All of a sudden, going into turn number 1, Jared caught the right rear of Mike Lays and did a nosedive right into the turn 1 wall. Had to get towed off. It couldn't be repairable for the rest of the night. Jared Umbenhauer having, I guess we can call the hard luck award of the night. Not something you want, but it was, they had to throw the red. It was that bad of a accident heading into turn number 1. Your hard charger advancing 15 spots as usual. Eddie Strada went from 20th to 5th. Early race leaders were Chris Gambler in the 121, Brian Herthler in the 4-star, and eventually he was taken coming off a turn 4 and a fantastic move by Craig Von Dohren, who held on to get the win in the 30-lap A-Main. Top 10, Craig Von Dohren getting the win in the 30. Nice to see Craig back in the victory lane. Finishing second, Brett Kressley, putting some solid moves the last couple laps. He was quickly catching CVD, but just didn't have enough to get by. Kressley getting second in the 19K. Early race leader Brian Herthler, and also a heat winner, finishing third in the 4-star. Ryan Graver, 101. Solid top 5 finish for the Sportsman driver turned modified racer. The 101 Ryan Graver getting 4th, and rounding out your top 5, the hard charger Eddie Strada, going from 20th to 5th after the 30 laps was completed. 6th, Logan Watt in the 4M. Carol Hine in the 114. Carol Hine the 3rd, getting a nice solid finish with a 7th in the 114. Finishing 8th, Anthony Perego in the 4. It seems like Perego always finds a way to get that 4 into the top 10 when the final checker is thrown by Ray Kemp. Loudon Reimert in the 16, one of the hottest small block modified drivers in the area, getting 9th in the 16 and rounding out your top 10. It's great to see this driver. He was a former Sportsman racer back a couple of years ago. Visited, started being a regular down at New Egypt, but New Egypt closed, and we're getting a lot of their regulars to come to Grandview. And Jim Hausworth in the 72 getting 10th. So there's how things went down for the small block modifieds. Top 3, Craig Von Dohren, Brett Kressley, and Brian Herthler. Next up for the action down at Grandview Speedway for July the 18th, it's 90s night, $10 admission. So if you haven't been to Grandview for a while and you want to see some fantastic racing, I consider it the best racing in the country, no matter what class you're watching or no matter what speedway you're at. Come on down to Grandview Speedway, located right off of Route 100 in Bechtelsville. So I'm Mike Feltberger. Have a safe and happy week, and see you back at Grandview on July the 18th.